In a shocking twist of fate, Landorus is on the cusp of leaving the OU tier. Now, I know a lot of you were not expecting this anytime soon, so let's take a look at some of this detail. So if you don't know Landorus, this is it, but if you're watching my channel, you absolutely know who a Landorus is. And clicking on this page, I found a few things I just want to talk about. Crown Tundra DLC, I guess that's when Lando returned in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and it just absolutely bonked the meta. That's great. I remember us looking forward to Landorus coming back because it felt like he was the great equalizer, and that the meta would be a lot healthier once Landorus was there. And they were right, although he did contribute to a heavy chip meta where people were spamming Static, Flame Body, and Landorus was using Rocky Helmet. Now, Landorus is so good that people make songs. This was something I found while I was doing a little Google searching, is a Landorus themed song, and just shout out to this guy. If it's not enough to convince you that people love this thing, look at False White Gaming's channel. Now this channel, they do a lot of how great was Aegislash, how great was Feraligatr, and a bunch of long analytic videos. I believe they're all written by BKC, who is just a competitive Pokemon sage. He knows everything that there is to possibly know, and his channel is absolutely fantastic, so check that out. But look at how long these videos are. 28 minutes, 22 minutes, 9 minutes. But the False White Gaming video on Landorus is a full-blown movie. It is an hour and 15 minutes long because it has had such a significant impact on the overused tier ever since its inception. It has been the king of OU. If you're watching this video, you know this. What you want to know is it really gonna drop to UU? Well, here's the official post of the usage statistics coming into November 2023. And now we see, you know, King Gambit at 40% because it's absolutely insane. Then, you know, you got Great Tusk 29, Goldango 27. These are all numbers you would expect, but the number you wouldn't expect is all the way down here. At number 37 is Landorus Therian. The king of OU is at 4.566% usage. Now, scrolling back to the top here, let me just move my camera. At 4.52%, you drop out of OU and you are considered a UU Pokemon. And we have seen a lot of great Pokemon drop down to UU this generation. Let's take another look here at Garchomp, who is an iconic OU Pokemon. 3.182% usage at number 48 in usage. Garchomp is now UU. It is absolutely legal to play with it, and if you haven't tried it yet, you should, because you'll be flabbergasted to find out that Garchomp is actually not even that good in UU. It's still pretty good, but it's not great. Maybe that has something to do with all the tanks dropping down. Garganacl is UU, Torkoal, Iron Treads, Amoonguss. You got Skeledirge, Clodsire, Tornadus Therian. Shockingly, UU is a more defensive tier than OU is right now, where most of what you're seeing is things like Iron Valiant, Iron Moth, Roaring Moon, who actually just got banned. Which is surprising to consider that it was just banned when you realize it only had 20% usage. I find that very interesting. So, why is Landorus not good? What is so hostile in this environment to it? Well, to look at that, I think we need to look at some of these Pokemon. So here is that data presented in a more viewer-friendly format. Let me move my camera a little bit for you. We got King Gambit at 40%, Gliscor at 20%. Now, the key standouts I think you can see here is Gliscor, you got Blood Moon, you have, who else? It was Gliscor, it was Blood Moon, and Ting Lu. So there's a lot of competition in the ground type slot. If you want a ground type for your team, in previous generations, you would have just went to Landorus right away. There is no one better. But now you have a lot of competition. You might say, Sean, Gliscor has existed in the past, and Landorus has never beaten it. And that's true, but it's never had access to spikes before. And spikes are absolutely king in this meta. Goldango makes removing them absolutely difficult, at the very least. At the very least, it's difficult, if not nigh impossible, if your team is not properly prepared for Goldango. So the balloon, good as gold, making immune to defog. You guys, if you're watching this channel, you know what Goldango does. I've made enough videos about it already. It's absolutely just busted. And I have a few other theories about what's going on here. With the new DLC, we see Ogerpon. And I'm gonna move my camera again. Sorry, we just gotta keep moving this thing all over. it has Defiant. So this thing is a grass type, which is already neutral to its typing. It can turn into the Wellspring version, which we'll pull up right here, which is then a water type, which is even worse for Landorus. And it has Defiant, and I think that's key. Now let me read out what Defiant does for you. It says, this Pokemon's attack is raised by 2 for each of its stats that's lowered by a foe. So what Landorus is going to want to do is it's going to come in with these amazing stats, and it's going to abuse its Intimidate ability. On switch-in, this Pokemon lowers the attack of opponents by 1 stage. Now that's fantastic versus Pokemon like King Gambit, Roaring Moon, who's now gone, so Landorus has lost its ability to, help out in the Roaring Moon matchup. It's great versus Iron Valiant, but Ogerpon is taking advantage of that. You can't just spam Intimidate versus it because it's only going to get stronger and be able to check Landorus even harder. So I think if you see more Landoruses appearing in this meta, you're going to see more Ogerpons, whether that's the Cornerstone, which I think is probably the worst one, or the Wellspring, or even the Teal Mask, the base version. You're not going to see Hearthflame as he's banned as well. I love this Ogerpon Wellspring, by the way. Another issue for Landorus is the return of Rillaboom. Now, I love Rillaboom. If you've been on this channel for the last 2 months, I've been gushing about it a lot. I really think it's great, and it's healthy for the meta. It helps thicken teams up, which is really great in this hyper-offensive metagame that we have. I think making teams stronger allows different playstyles to come to fruition, and that's a really great thing. So what it does is it has Grassy Surge, and that allows Pokemon to heal passively if they're grounded. But what it also does is cut the power of ground-type attacks in half, and that's just more bad news for Landorus. So the return of Rillaboom and the appearance of Ogerpon has been very, very bad for our boy Landorus here. Is there anyone else who's key standing out here? Obviously, Dondozo is a bad matchup. You have over here, we have, what's his name? Hisuian Samurott. It's a water type. That's already not great, but he's also competing with that hazard setting, right? He's able to use the Ceaseless Edge to get up spikes. And, Landorus can't set up spikes, and spikes are fantastic in this meta that is, honestly, pretty predominantly grounded. You see a lot of grounded Pokemon in this meta. You also see a lot of heavy-duty boots for that reason. You see Hatterene down here at 20%. There's so many hazards that people just need a way to bounce them back at you and sort of punish you for clicking that move, because it's so hard to remove them once they're up because of Goldengo that I'm just going to bounce them back at you with Hatterene. Walking Wake, powerful water type attacker. Glamora, it's going to get up hazards faster than a Landorus does, and if a Landorus tries to do anything about it, they're going to get up faster because of Toxic Debris. We got Manaphy showing up here. And the other ground types just kind of beat it out, right? Blood Moon is great. It has a fantastic physical defense. It's able to maybe set up on a Landorus. If not, just, it's another option that will lower Landorus's usage, right? If they have to split the usage, then that's 50% usage down for Landorus. And then I think the real true reason that we have seen the loss of Landorus is what you're looking at right here. Defog, illegal. Knockoff, illegal. Toxic, illegal. Explosion, I was shocked. This is also illegal. I can't believe it lost Explosion. These are all iconic moves for Landorus. Defog made Landorus one of the best hazard removers in the game because it was able to exert pressure, it was able to pivot, and remove hazards. Knockoff is a fantastic move that is constantly able to make progress in a match. Maybe I might not be able to get good damage off on you. Maybe I can't remove these hazards, but if you're going to switch, I can click Knockoff. And whoever's coming in, they're going to now be worse because I've removed their item. Toxic allowed Landorus to beat Pokemon that it otherwise wasn't able to beat, right? Like, I wouldn't be able to beat a Dondozo with a Landorus, but I can make a lot more progress if I'm able to Toxic it and knock off its leftovers. That's no longer an option. And now for more offensive Landorus sets, maybe sometimes you would run like a Choice Band and click Explosion. Or maybe you wanted to just go and do like Stealth Rocks and you wanted to do Focus Sash Landorus. This wasn't nearly as common, but this was seen on hyper-offensive teams where they would get up Stealth Rocks early. You maybe knock them out with their Focus Sash, but probably not because Landorus is very thick. And then they just go right for a boom, knock out one of your Pokemon, get Stealth Rocks up, and go right into like a super powerful offensive sweeper like, maybe a Dragapult or a Walking Wake, something of that nature. Without these tools, Landorus simply cannot compete with all of these powerful ground types that are running around in the metagame. And for that reason, I sincerely doubt we're going to see a return of Landorus. Now, coming up in, I believe, December, we do have new Pokemon DLC coming, and maybe there's going to be some all-powerful Pokemon that is going to get checked by Landorus, and maybe we will see a return. Maybe I'm going to eat my words in a month's time. But for now, I think we can honestly expect Landorus to probably leave by the end of the month. There's just too much stuff that is hostile towards the existence of Landorus in the meta. So let me know what you think in the comments. Hit subscribe if you made it to the end, and have a good one, y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.